Hi, my name is Rod Harlan. Thanks for joining me on this special look at mobile videography. And man, do I have a special guest for you. His name is David Basulto. This man is not only the president and CEO of iOgraphy, but also he is an actor, he is an educator, and honestly, he's an all-around media mogul. So let me go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Thank you. Good to see you, Rod. I'm happy to see that you're healthy and safe and
Thanks, bud.
doing good in these crazy times.
Yep. Thanks, bud. Well, listen, tell me a little bit first about what got you in kind of to this mobile videography space.
So I was, like you said, in the film business for years. I was an actor. Then I got to be a producer, and then I got to be, just sick of the whole business because of the long hours and the feast and the famine. And I retired from it. And my wife said, "You better get up off the couch after a few, I was playing video games, having the time of my life." She's like, "No." So I had an opportunity to go teach media in high school at my rival high school when I was growing up. So I went over there and enjoyed it. And while I was there, I started to see the need for having more equipment in our classroom to get more things done. We had a couple of DSLRs. We actually bought a red Scarlet camera, and
Wow.
and it was just like a very affluent high school, let me say. But the students were not getting a lot of work done because they were doing like 10 people to a group and stuff. And I thought, God, let's start trying these mobile devices. It was right around the time the iPad Mini was about to be released. I was already an iPad user. I'm an iPad fanatic since day one. I just thought, God, these devices, once they came out with the second generation of the first iPad, the giant one, the camera was on there. It shot decent video then. I could do editing on it with very few. iMovie was there at the time. Of course, we're way ahead of that now. And then, I could do animation, stop motion stuff. I could put my books on there. I mean, I thought, God, if I'm a student, this is all I need to go to school is this thing. And so anyway, I started to dive deep into that, and I came up with an idea of a product that would be able to put your iPad on a tripod, because the biggest thing was stability with these devices. And so I wanted to be stable with them, handles on both sides. I wanted to be able to add better lighting, better microphones, because I knew that you could connect adapters to the iOS devices to get better audio as well. So I started tinkering around. I came up with this idea. We called it the iOgrapher. I actually, before that, I just printed a 3D print of it in my classroom, and my students started to use it, and it worked. And I was kind of done with that because I really loved teaching. It was wonderful. And one of the kids said, "Why don't you do a Kickstarter?" I'm like, "What the heck's Kickstarter?" And so, in fact, I think a lot of my gray hair was from that first Kickstarter. It would go like this and like this. Anyway, so Kickstarter was a crowdfunding platform. We put it up there. I did a little video for it. And all of a sudden, we were getting funded. I was getting phone calls from Forbes about the teacher that's trying to make better video, mainstream in schools.
Wow.
New York Times is calling me, and I'm like, this is crazy. And still at that point, I was like, well, now that we've done this, how in the God's name am I going to make these products? Because I'm not a manufacturer. So it's just been a learning experience every step of the way. I was very fortunate that one of my students' parents owned an injection molding company in California where we make all our products.
Right.
Another student had a packaging company. Their parents owned a company that packaged stuff for Lancome and other places. So all of it kind of came together. And then the nail on the head was one of my students I had been teaching for years. His dad and I were good friends now. He took me on a long walk and told me, I think he did it to wear me down, but he told me, "I love what you're doing. I wrote this check out for $500,000 and I want to be your partner." So that was a life-changing event for me.
Wow.
And
well, listen,
so,
I know you do a lot of consulting on all of this kind of stuff. Everybody obviously is into like not just the live streaming, but the mobile videography, whether they're shooting it for their churches, whether they're shooting it for themselves, their families, whether it's a side business. So now that we have literally in our with our cameras, I mean, with our phones, we have these amazing cameras. What are some of the main things that people usually come to you with? Like, what are their pain points that you really feel like, these are some things that I hear all the time?
So the biggest thing since the pandemic hit, obviously we're all just like hunkered down, but we've got to. And in fact, I did a bunch of webinars when this hit that were very successful. That were titled "How to Remain Relevant in Uncertain Times," and I wanted to get across that as long as you have one of these devices in your pocket, at the very least, you can keep in contact. And you have to keep in contact with your customers, with your parishioners, with your fans, whatever. And it was very simple to do, just adding a couple of tools to it, adding better audio, adding lighting, and then finding the right apps to use. And I really wanted to hit home that this is very cost effective, and it allows you to give quality content to people that need it. So one of the big things that came immediately was an influx of churches and different places like that. And they were, hey, we can't do our services. What can we do? So I started to do stuff about doing live streams. First of all, just plugging in a couple of accessories to get audio, so they would have a nice microphone. When maybe it was just a single camera with the pastor or whoever talking into the camera. Then I started to step it up, showing them different apps. Switcher Studio is one of my favorite mobile apps, where now the pastor can be talking, but we can also bring in his laptop screen, where maybe he's got Psalm 23. I mean, I'm really bad Catholic, so I don't know all my Psalms and all that, but you can see all that on the screen, and and all of that's there. And then maybe with Switcher Studio, for example, and I know a lot of we're on Ecamm right now. It's another great place. You can bring in guests like we're doing right now. So maybe I'm going to bring in someone that's in the community to talk about what's going on or whatever. But it's a great way to just give a lot of value to people that need it and want to be informed. The horrible part, and one of the things that we've been working with school districts was doing Facebook Lives, just basic ones, just to keep the parents informed of what's going on, and so that was kind of the thing that we really shifted to when all this happened. It was a crazy explosion of people needing to be in contact. The little store down the street, the bakery that you can't go line up and get your fresh rolls from anymore, but maybe they are allowing you to pick up, right? And or there's DoorDash, so they want to be relevant. So let me do a video on my Instagram channel or my Facebook page and show you, hey, we're making these awesome rolls. Here's a close-up of the butter melting, right. And I'm sitting at home going, you know what? I need that still. So all of this is totally doable and at a very low cost.
Right. In fact, let's talk about some specifics. Now, I'm personally, this isn't a thing to necessarily plug one thing in particular, but I'm a huge fan of the iOgrapher, and I'm a huge fan of it because you have all of the different things that you need to go ahead and really screw in anything you need. Lights, mics, little shotgun mics, all that kind of stuff. You have them on all spots. You have little hot shoes that you can kind of do things. And then your camera goes right in here and it can fit all sorts of different sizes. I know you have yours. Yeah. Show that right there. Perfect.
So you just basically get your phone, you put it in there like that. And then you're off to the races. Now you've got, maybe you might have to straighten it just a tiny bit, but you're good. And now you got your phone in there. And This is a little meta, right? I like that.
Right.
So now you got your phone in there. You're ready to film, and you're just, you can hand hold it if you want, but you can put it on a monopod, a tripod.
Perfect.
We have a bendable tripod that you can wrap it around a pole if you want, or whatever. Right. And then on top here, you're adding a little microphone if you want, right. Or you can add, your lights and stuff like that. So, or both if you want. On the front of the phone, if you're really far away, we sell cases, protective cases that now, if I want to, I can screw on a lens right here.
Well, that's what I wanted to show. So like this is one right here that you can do that with, and you can go ahead and you can screw on, and there's some really cool lenses.
Yeah. We got the 3x telephoto, a wide. So if you're really close to the person that the pastor, for example, let's just stay on
You
churches.
get some really nice ones.
Yeah. So if you're really close to the pastor because of the distance capabilities of filming, you're right there. Maybe you want to put on a wide angle lens so you can get close, but still have a lot of stuff in the frame. Now, if you're really far away, because that's where you have to film from, there's a 3 times telephoto lens that you can get nice and close to. There's a 300 millimeter telephoto lens,
Right.
So there's lots of options with lenses that you can add. Now, also, don't get me wrong, there's also the one for the iPad where you just pop your iPad in there. They all fit different cases, and then we've got lenses for this as well. Goes on to the 1/4-20 on your tripod. You can shoot vertically or horizontally. So we've got you covered with anything you need for mobile. That's the key.
What do you like right now for microphones? Do you have any specific mics that you are either shotgun or lapel that you're like, boy, this is a sweet spot right now?
Well, of course, we're a big Rode distributor, and we love Rode products. They had a problem when all of this happened for getting inventory in. We weren't getting we had the demand, but we had no inventory. So I started to tinker around and worked with a couple of companies, and we created our own lavalier microphone. It's called the Lav Mobile, $39.95. It sounds great. If you go to the Iographer YouTube channel, there's a demo there of how it sounds with and without. It sounds fantastic. It comes with the adapter, so you can plug it into a DSLR or your computer, or you just put it onto your phone. So it's really inexpensive to get going. We're coming out with a mini condenser mic that is a directional mic. It's really small like that. It's going to be around the $49 range. That'll sit right on top, plugs right into your device, and you're good to go with that too. It gets you about 5 to 6 feet of range with audio, and it comes a little furry to keep out the noise. So those are great. On the wireless front, I mean, that's what it's fun. It's not funny, but it's really interesting. We've started to get a bunch of emails. One of the new places that came out of the blue for us as a customer base were funeral homes. Of course, people pass away daily from other things, and they're having funerals, but people can't go to funerals anymore. So they were live streaming the funerals. There's a couple of apps out there that allow, they're kind of like a guest book where you can put the photos in of the person and then the live stream and all this stuff. And so they started to come to us looking for audio solutions for that, because they can't have, they wanted to be further away from the few family that were there. There's the priest or the rabbi or whoever is doing the service. So we've been selling them. We sell this audio system called the Blink 500. It's made by Ceramonic. $249. Comes with 2 wireless lavalier microphones. They sound great with a little receiver that plugs right into your phone or your iPad or your Android device. And gets great audio. You can change the levels, all kinds of stuff. So there's just so many options. Whatever your situation, I guarantee you there's a perfect option for it.
One of the things I've noticed that will help somebody's video look, probably more than anything else, is lighting. Because a lot of times when you see that grainy or that noise or anything else, it's because they don't have good lighting. For the setup, whether it's in, say, a building like a church or an event, or for when you're run and gun, like when you're really doing true mobile videography, what do you like there in terms of lighting?
Well, it's interesting because we have this ring light that people have started to use to take mobile with them, and this is it right here.
Oh, look at that.
And it comes with a bendable tripod. You put your phone right here if you want to be that simple, or you can unscrew this and it'll go on top of your product, of your Iographer case. And then it plugs in. You need a little battery, but it gets, let me just see, I have a little battery right here. And lots of people have been sending us great reviews about, oh my God, I love using this.
The one
And
thing
it's
I will say about
wonderful.
ring lights for people is that those of us that wear glasses, you got to be careful. Make sure that you get the glasses that have the anti-glare, because ring lights are notorious for
100%. And if you go to the Iographer YouTube channel, yesterday I did a video on how to fix that because I have that problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is the
this is
fix,
it.
just as a general thing? Like what do you generally do? Like, I mean, I know it's longer, but just in a nutshell.
No. So the biggest thing right here is I'm shooting right here. You can see, let's see, there's my ring light, right?
Yep.
So now the big thing is to raise it up. And now I'm getting great light still.
Right.
But I don't want to go like this.
Right.
It's just being where, it's literally just raising it out of frame a little bit, and you're still getting great light.
Yep.
And it's just an old trick that everyone has done, and I've never had to do it until I started wearing glasses. But you like this thing has it right here in front, and obviously you can't do that because it's going to be hitting you. So you wouldn't be using this. You might put this on a separate stand,
correct,
or and stuff like that, and then just have it raised up a little bit, and you're good to go.
That's awesome.
But so that's been a great little thing. The best, my favorite light, and I've got them from all my shows that I do and all my stuff, is this little Lume Cube panel.
Yeah, I like those.
And I love this light. It's the size of my iPhone.
Right.
And it'll not only it'll charge your iPhone too if you want. It's got the ability to do that. But this is 5%.
Wow.
Okay? This is 5%.
Wow.
It has a range of 3,600 to 5,600 Kelvin if you want to get geeky. So you can get that amber tone, or you can get bright pure white.
Right.
And then it just goes all, and once again on my YouTube channel, I have a whole demo of it. I love these lights. I have 6 of them personally. And when I do my lives, because before I'd have, I had a big, it's just like a big, I don't know, giant light sitting in front of me.
Right.
And then I would have like a big softbox. And then I had an overhead softbox. And then I had 2 giant ring lights on each side of me. And so I walking around in my little workroom, my office, I was like, it was, going through the minefield. So then I started to buy these little lights that we have that I'm showing you. And it's just awesome. It's compact. You can put them in my backpack and take off, and they're great. They're great to do.
I'm going to show you one that actually is one of my faves because it's super easy, super cheap, and I actually got it. I actually got it from Iographer. I got it from Dave.
Oh.
This little clip-on. It is a clip-on. Is all it is. It is a clip-on light, but it works so well when you just need a little bit of light somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it just, you can put it right on a phone. You can just literally, without even getting all fancy, you can literally just clip it right to a phone.
I am so thrilled you have that because I couldn't find mine this morning. Yes, I am the owner, but I don't know where any of the stuff is.
Yeah, I keep them with me, and they have different brightnesses, which is kind of insane. I mean, it
goes up 3 different levels of brightness.
Yeah, 3 different levels. I mean, that's crazy.
On the spot, if you need light, I mean, you put off if you have glasses, once again, you just put it on a little bit higher. You're good to go. And if you don't have glasses, oh my God.
I just want people to know that there's all sorts of these little doodads out there that you can get, like that are just out in the market that honestly weren't there just a few years ago, and that are now like everywhere. So there's all sorts of ways. And like I said, the number one thing that you can do as a tip to really increase, like whenever you're seeing like, not just shadowed and not looking good, but also even the graininess of your footage and everything else, is to add light. All these phones, anything small, whether it's an action cam like a GoPro, whether it's a phone, whether it's an older camera of some kind, you give it a little more light and it changes everything just right away. Also, recording onto your recording with your camera's audio, whether that camera is your iPhone or your Android device, or whether it's one of these other little cams, maybe it's an older camera that you have or have around, it is always better if you can plug in external audio, whatever it is, like literally whatever it is. You can get cheap little lapel mics. You can get just an external little, you don't have to have the most expensive like Sennheiser shotgun mic that's used in some studio that's $1,000. You don't have to. You really don't. But there are are so many other options out there that just honestly, every little thing that you can do will take that an extra 15, 20%. Like you keep improving what you're doing with all that.
And worst case scenario, plug in the little AirPod things that are the ear pods that came with your phone.
Right.
They're going to be a lot better than having no mic at all.
Correct.
Right.
Well, listen, any last words, anything you want to first, like any last tips, and then I'm going to ask you, just go ahead and plug where people can kind of get some more of this information, because I know you've got so much out there on your YouTube and some of your other social media, but any last little tips for our people who are really trying to get into kind of mobile videography and making the most of it?
Yeah. So one of the things, I have because I was a former teacher, I started a website called Mobile Video School. To kind of be the sister to Iographer, which is the company that sells all the gear. And Mobile Video School, the first course out the gate, because we have a 30-some thousand on our mailing list from Iographer, 40,000, I'm sorry. And so I did a questionnaire. If I was going to do these kind of courses, would you be interested in them? Yes. What would be the first thing? And overwhelmingly, by 68%. People wanted to know more about live video. So the first course I did was Learn to Go Live, and we've gotten some great reviews. It's a simple course. I want to say it's $297, and it's just got everything. If you don't know anything about how to do this, I'm showing you everything. We got this great private Facebook group that comes along with it, and we do a Zoom once a month to ask more Q&A stuff, answers, and it's just a great place to come and go. So one of the things I teach in that is having a plan when you go live. I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z. I'm not just going to come on here and say, "Oh, am I live? Can you hear me? Do you guys hear me? Am I live?" It's like, okay. Oh, hi, Jason out there. Good to see you. No, there's a way to be successful at it. It's simple to do, and you really want to be engaging with your live people, and so that they can tell other people. And one of the things that has been wonderful with some of the churches that we've talked to, who have used our gear, is that once they've gone live, they're seeing people from other cities and other states and that are watching their live, and because they were looking for this kind of spiritual guidance or whatever, and maybe the family member said, "Hey, our pastor's really good, our priest's really good. Here, let me share you the link," and then now they're getting more people to watch their information, and it's a great way to kind of spread the word around without having people to actually come to wherever you are, whether you're a church or a business or whatever. So lots of great secrets that we talk about in the course, and I would love to invite all of you to it.
That's awesome. What is your YouTube channel? What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Every social media is Iographer. So you can find me everywhere. It's me answering all the questions. My company is very small, based in Southern California. It's my wife and I.
That's awesome.
But we love it, and we love working with people, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Dave, I really appreciate you sharing some of these great tips and tricks with us today.
Oh, Rod, it's so great to hear from you, and I'm so great to see you. I feel like I've been stuck in this house, and I need to see a friendly face, and there you are.
Me too, buddy. Me too. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Say hi to everybody.
We'll do that. Thanks, bud.
Right. Thanks for watching. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. So now let's quickly look at what I'm going to be doing tomorrow in my classes. I'm teaching 3 of them. One of the first ones, I think it's at noon, is going to be Photoshop. So let me look here. One of the things that we're going to cover in Photoshop, this is a class specifically for how do you actually work with video inside of Photoshop. We're going to cover things like how to bring actual video clips into Photoshop, what kind of filters you can add to them, and how you can do that. We're going to look at neat and clever ways that we can work by creating time-lapse. So this is a time-lapse video that was completely, we can work with either time-lapse videos that were already created, or we can create them from scratch. Here's one that's a nice, real big one that's created from a whole bunch of very, very large individual pictures. And we'll see how you can create time-lapse video with just one click. There's a lot of ways to do it with a lot of different programs, but I really find that Photoshop is one of the best, and it gives you so many options. I'll also show you ways that you can make some money by actually going out and recording time-lapse photography, turning it into video, and then creating multiple video clips from just one single time out shooting from one single very large image. So that's a really cool thing. And we're going to end up, I'll probably end up showing you a really cool trick and technique of how you can actually go ahead and change certain objects, like this big red pickup truck in the middle of a field, as you have like a little pan across, how we can go ahead and, without doing any kind of special selection or doing any of that kind of stuff, how we can go ahead and just convert it to all sorts of different colors, even as the video is still moving. So really some neat little effects. Well, one of the other classes I'm going to be working on is going to be, in fact, I think this is my first class in the morning, how to break in and succeed as a freelance video editor. I'm still building this out a little bit, but I'm gonna just kind of give you a quick overview of the outline. Biggest challenges, we're going to cover that. We're going to cover where to find work, how to get more clients. We're going to go over, in particular, some online communities where you can get some support. We're going to look at how to set up a system for kind of working with people and doing all sorts of things. So there's a lot of stuff there on both how to, a lot of videos out there, or a lot of little things you might see on YouTube, or how to break in as a thing. But hardly anybody teaches you how to actually succeed as a video editor, especially a freelance video editor. And obviously I've been doing that for almost 30 years. So we're gonna talk about that as well. And then my last class of the day, we're going to be looking at something known as, let me get that out of there. We're going to be looking at something known as motion graphic templates, but specifically the ones from Adobe, the Adobe Mogrt, M-O-G-R-T format. Motion graphic templates are really helpful. We're going to show how you can use those in a team setting with your clients and stuff. Mogrts do a lot of neat stuff. We're going to go all the way from the beginning and talk about kind of what they are. And then I'm going to show you some ways. These are ones that you can actually buy on sites like Adobe Stock, but I'm going to show you how you can get a bunch of free ones where they're at. I'm going to give you some resources if you want to start creating your own. I obviously use some of mine. I create specifically for certain clients, and the reason you want to create these motion graphics templates, you create them in After Effects or Premiere, or even in Premiere Rush. You can actually create them in 3 of those programs. After Effects will give you the most control and give you the kind of the neatest stuff that you can do with them. But you can also create some inside of Premiere itself. And we're going to look at just some of the things that you can do in terms of using them with clients so that it locks things down, so that if you share with other editors and whatnot, it doesn't get confused, somebody doesn't make a mistake and change a font or something along those lines. And so there's a lot of little tips and tricks that I'm going to give you about using Mogrts, creating Mogrts, what they really are. If you see this one right here, this will show you just some of the different lower thirds and some of the different text-based template things that you can do. So there's all sorts of neat tricks that we're going to do covering all of that. So that's just a quick little look at some of the things I'm going to be going over tomorrow in my 3 classes. I really hope that you'll join me. Thank you for joining me on this special video, kind of looking over mobile videography, and I really hope that you'll enjoy getting out there now and maybe shooting some stuff on your own, or else helping somebody else try to make the most of what they're trying to do. I also hope that you'll join me tomorrow as I kind of go in depth on these other 3 subjects. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you tomorrow.